This is by far the worst Marvel movie I've ever had to sit through. Nothing in this movie worked. Nothing. There are so many problems that I'll talk about. But first, let's talk about the good stuff. Gore the Butcher. I'm just going to call him Gore, but he was actually pretty cool for the 3 minutes of screen time that he got. Or at least it felt like 3 minutes, because he was barely in this movie at all. It was more like a rom-com about Jane and Thor, but I'll get into that in a bit. Gore was actually interesting. He had clear motivation and reason as to why he wanted all gods dead, and it's just a damn shame that they didn't explore him more in the movie. It felt like he only had 3 minutes of screen time, just because the rest of the movie was just so bland and boring without him. He was legit the only good part of this movie. Now with the only good part out the way, I'm going to talk about the bad, and there was a lot of bad. I'll just start with the teaser trailer, which made it look like Thor is done being a god and he's going to go off on random adventures and journeys to find himself, but this just didn't happen at all in the movie. It was more about the relationship between himself and his ex-girlfriend Jane that I completely forgot existed. Like, did anyone remember she was a character? Their relationship struggles were fine, I guess, and there was one funny part where Stormbreaker slowly appears in the stream because Thor was talking to his ex-hammer, Mjolnir. Mjolnir? Yeah, Mjolnir. So it looked like he was cheating on Stormbreaker. That had a little bit of a chuckle out of me, but that was the only part in the movie that was funny. Aside from that, I didn't care for their relationship. They put a quick little montage in there of their relationship and why it failed, but it wasn't really very interesting. It was just they had time apart and they couldn't be with each other anymore because they were both going in their separate ways. Also, the part where Jane can wield Mjolnir kind of wasn't explained very well. Like, she has a good heart, and Thor one time said to Mjolnir, look after her, but then Mjolnir is the thing that ends up killing her, so it doesn't really make much sense, but it's whatever. Overall, the most disappointing part, though, is that the movie wasn't taking itself serious at all, and none of the jokes landed. Like, oh my god, the screaming goats. Why are they in the movie? You're 10 years late to that joke. It was not funny at all, and it happened like 9 times in the movie. I was just dying in my seat. I didn't want to watch anymore. This is the most environmentally friendly movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, every joke that they use is recycled. And I saw someone say it is like Reddit the movie. And I don't go on Reddit much, but I know what they mean. Because it is just, like, terrible. It's so bad. There's one place called Omnipotent City. Jesus Christ. Omnipotent City. There we go.
Are you serious?
Where all the gods hang out to do god stuff and talk about everything and have orgies. That's pretty much the concept of the place. And it looked really, really stunning. And it's on screen right now. Oh, it was on screen. And the fucking goats were on screen as well. I can't get over the fucking goats. They make me mad. Anyway, Zeus and... Wait, no, sorry. There was this dumpling god. I'll talk about that first. Why is there a dumpling god? It wasn't funny. Like, no one laughed at it. But, you know, it's whatever. They try to joke. It's fun. But Zeus was made to look like an idiot, and he didn't do anything the whole time. And it was just a waste of time. Like, that's it. This movie is a waste of time. He didn't do anything, and them going to Omnipotent City didn't achieve anything. It tried to go for a similar style to Thor Ragnarok, but the difference between those two movies is Thor Ragnarok is actually funny, and the jokes land. The action scenes were mediocre at best. They were still probably one of the better parts of the movie, but it just felt clunky and unimpressive. But Thor, the God of Thunder, with thousands of years of battle experience, who beat the Hulk 1-on-1 in Ragnarok, look outclassed by Gore. They had a little back and forth, but Gore would always get the best of Thor, who ended up needing to be rescued by Jane. The scene that was just icing on the cake for me, though, is when Thor gives all these little kids powers, and at that point you know that they're just invincible, because plot armor, they're not going to kill any kids. But before that, they all look behind Thor, and Thor just says, "He's right behind me, isn't he?" And the movie theater was just silent. Nobody laughed. And it just pretty much sums up Marvel humor right now. It's just dead, and it's just not funny, and it's just repetitive, recycled. It's annoying and unfunny, and all the memes about Marvel humor is sadly just true at this point. Like, there is no redemption for this movie. The ending was fine. Gore technically won because he made it to eternity and he could make a wish. But Thor and Jane convinced him that he didn't want to achieve his goal in the end, but rather he wanted love, aka his daughter back. So of course he wished for that. But I'm just wondering, why didn't Thor or Jane wish for Jane to recover? Were they not allowed to? Like, did I miss something? Maybe I did, but it just seems stupid and they didn't really explain it, or maybe I missed something. Anyways, I want to stop thinking about this stupid movie. It is by far the worst Marvel movie, and I give it a 3 out of 10.